God's throne room is currently inside what we'll call the temporary heaven. You'll see why I'm calling it temporary in a moment. This is the unseen realm where God, the angels, and all those who have died having placed their faith in Jesus are located right now. And there are a ton of misconceptions about this place. Thankfully, Revelation 6 gives us some insight. In this chapter, we read about a group of martyrs in this temporary heaven who cry out to God, saying, "How long, O Lord, holy and true, until you judge and avenge our blood on those who dwell on the earth?" This statement alone gives us 4 observations about what life is like in this temporary heaven that kind of shocked me when I learned about them. First of all, we learn from this passage that those in the temporary heaven will remember their life on earth. These saints who cried out did not have their memory erased, but actually could recall their suffering while on earth. Christian will remember giving his life to Christ at his local church. He'll remember working that back-breaking job for 30 years of his life. He'll even remember the troubles he went through as a child, growing up in a broken home. I personally believe that all of these memories, even the bad ones, are going to make everyone in heaven that much more grateful to be there, making the heaven experience even more sweeter. The second thing we learn from this passage is that we will be at least somewhat aware of what is happening on earth. The saints knew that certain actions had not been taken by God on the earth. Will we be able to look down on our loved ones and see what they're up to? Or will we just have a high level of understanding about what's taking place on the earth as a whole? I guess we'll find out when we get there. The third thing that we can observe about the temporary heaven is that the saints ask God, "How long?" implying that there is still a sense of time we will experience here. Another passage even talks about there being silence for half an hour in the temporary heaven. The fourth and most exciting thing we can learn about this awesome place is that we will be able to ask God questions. We aren't going to just instantly have all the answers to life and eternity when we get to heaven. Instead, we'll be able to discover and learn new things with our King. One of the most exciting things we'll get to discover that no one talks about happens at stage number 6. But before we get there, let's take a look at what's happening down below. This next chamber of hell is not reserved for humans. It's for something far worse. And it was where righteous people like Moses and Lazarus went after they died. What's even more interesting about Abraham's bosom is that it is located directly across from Abaddon. Jesus tells us that the rich man was able to physically see and even hear Abraham and Lazarus in paradise. The rich man was so tormented by the flame of the pit that he begged Abraham to have Lazarus dip his finger in water to cool his tongue. But Abraham told the rich man that this was impossible because there was a great gulf that separated these 2 chambers from one another. However, today the rich man and all the other unrighteous in Abaddon can no longer see anyone in Abraham's bosom anymore because it is completely empty now. The Bible tells us that after Jesus died, he went down into Hades and led captivity captive, meaning all of the Old Testament saints were taken out of Abraham's bosom by Jesus and ascended with him into the presence of God in heaven, where they are to this day. In fact, they were taken to stage number 2 of heaven on our timeline, the same place Christian is about to go next.